The Ben Heck Show is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community and online store built for engineers and hobbyists alike. Join now and browse the store at element14.com.
As you know, I have a vendetta against the cold and winter. So when an idea came through in the Element 14 community to battle winter's cold, I was all over it. Fellow Madisonian Abby came up with the idea, and we're going to help her out with it. I think that's her now.
Hi Ben, this is Abby. As you know, I ride my bike to work in the winter, and my hands have been getting really cold, even with gloves. Do you think you could help me out with some DIY handlebar warmers?
I think we can do that. Let's get started.
Amazing builds, exclusive mods, cutting-edge ideas, electronics, engineering, and more. Every week on Element 14's The Ben Heck Show.
So here is a bike. It's not the specific bike that we're trying to have warm handlebars on, but it'll do for our purposes now. So there's obviously existing rubber handlebars on a bike. I'm thinking that we'll take these grips off and work with the bare tube. That way it's a known entity. The tube is 7/8 of an inch in diameter, so that's good to work with. Pretty much all bikes have that same diameter because all these things are meant to clamp onto that diameter. We obtained these. These are actually meant to warm up handlebars on a motorcycle. See that? And they basically just use resistance to create heat. But if we try to wrap it around an existing rubber grip, it just isn't going to be right. But if we have something tubular, totally tubular, we can get a better surface area for your hand to grip. As far as a power source, we can't use a generator like this bike has because it generates a very weak AC 6 volts. It's basically enough to do a light bulb, certainly not enough to create resistive heat. So we got one of these guys. This is one of those portable USB charging packs that you would take with you on a trip or a convention to keep all your phones charged and whatnot. We're thinking we can use this guy. It's got 2 amps out at 5 volts, which is quite a bit, and its power is 15,000 milliamp hours. So this will definitely do probably both your to and fro commute. Maybe this plugs in someplace and powers the hand warmers, and then you can take this in and charge it while you're at work. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll start by making a custom grip that will go into the handlebar, and then we'll try to power it with this battery pack. I'm going to start making the insulated handlebar. This dowel is the same diameter as the metal, although we want to have a little bit of slop because the dowel will have some compression to it since it's wood, not metal. And we want to be able to get the handlebar on and off. But this will get us close enough. So I'm going to mark off the length of this rubber handle. 4.5 inches. Close, 4 and, I wasn't super close, it's 4 1/8. So much for my career as a carnival weight guesser. Step right up, I'll guess your weight. You, madame, weigh 300 pounds. Ah! And he was never heard from again. I'm going to cut a strip of it that is the right width. That's pretty good. All right, let's just do a test here. So I'm using cork because I feel it'll give us some pliability. It'll be kind of sort of soft. Also it'll give us good insulation. We want to heat up your hands, not the metal. And spoiler warning, metal is a lot more conductive than hands, which means the heat would go to the metal if it had the chance. So we can't give it the chance. Okay. I think what I'm going to do first is apply some cork to the inside of the heater using the adhesive. Yeah, it's not quite as wide as this, but that's okay. A sharp knife is a safe knife. Then we have our electrical contacts. I'm going to actually want to cut around those so the thickness is consistent. There we go. Put the two adhesive sides together. There we go. A little tighter. Cork as tape. I never thought I'd see the day. Mutiny. I'll just stick that cork there. Why not? Oh. Itching for the run and head out on the highway. Let's go to the bar. I've got a 12-volt wall wart hooked up to this thing, and I'm also putting it through my Fluke multimeter, and it's reading 0.57 amps at 12 volts. It's definitely warm. Let's see if I can feel it through a glove. These are my old gloves that still work. The heat is now transferring through my glove. I suppose you could wear thinner gloves if you were using this. Oh yeah, it's definitely warm. Actually, let's see how warm it is. Feels warmer than that. Well, anyway, it works. Let's see. I guess the real trick is if the cork insulation's working. So 106, 89. Okay, so there is a difference between the handle itself and the material it's on. I have it on a 12-volt wall wart right here, but if we use a USB charger, it only has 5 volts. We're gonna need some sort of step-up regulator.
Now it's time for a tech timeout. The battery pack has a low voltage in it, 3.7 volts on its lithium-ion batteries. The hand warmers themselves need to run off 12 volts because they were intended for a motorcycle. The solution to this problem is a step-up regulator. This is an integrated circuit that looks very much like a normal regulator, although usually it has more pins. And by adding a few external components, mostly a coil, a diode, and some caps, you can take a lower voltage and boost it to a higher voltage. Now that we know what the solution is, I'll have Felix get the parts off element 14 while I build the other hand warmer.
New connectors.
Get the products and information you need fast. Visit element14.com today.
Here is a switching step-up regulator unit that we had Felix wire. What this does is it takes the 5 volts from the battery pack and boosts it to 12 volts for the hand warmers. Here are the inputs and here are the outputs. Kind of looks like a little person kind of. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Oh yeah. I wanted to make this kind of a simple project, so instead of 3D printing an enclosure, I'm just using this project box. So our step-up regulator will be in there, and then I think what I'll do is I'll cut a hole in the top so the battery pack can slide down into the box and plug itself into the USB jack. Boop. So if you want to take this out and charge it, you just pull it out the top and take it with you, and you can leave this on your bike. And we had this left over from another project. It's a bike handlebar clasp. If we put this on the front of Abby's bike, that means we needed to mount it to this like that. And then I 3D printed an adapter that can slide in
like this. See that? And we can use that to attach it to the back of the case. I'm going to start by putting the step-up circuit inside of the box and bolting it in place. And more or less get the drill bit in there. We also want to make this somewhat weatherproof if we can. I'd like to put some disconnects on so you can disconnect the handlebars from the main box. I'm going to put in these headphone jacks. That should work pretty good. I'm going to put these mono headphone jacks here on both sides. Oh, need a little bit more room than that. There, that's obviously the perfect diameter. There we go. And I'll wire them before I put them in because it'll be a lot easier to do it that way. All right, here's the power input going to the circuit. I'm going to hook it up to this USB port, and this USB port is what we'll plug into the bottom of our battery pack. Let's hook this up and see if we're getting the right voltage. Plug it into the battery pack. Use the multimeter. Ah, there we go, 12 volts. All right, now that the voltage is working, let's make the mechanism that allows us to slide the battery pack into the unit. Oh yeah! Completely missed. Girl, you don't have to worry if you got no money. People on the river are happy to give. I 3D printed this block. We can attach the USB to it and have it stick out a certain ways. Well, actually, the best way to do it is to plug it in, then put the block in place. And we're going to use that block to attach the USB connector to the lid, actually. See, like that. Obviously, we don't want this thing to go too far in because we want to be able to grab it and pull it out. That's probably good, like right there. If you need any help, Danny, you can just talk to me. I don't know if this, hopefully there's some glue left. Oh, come on, glue. You're tearing me apart, super glue. This is like the last of my super glue. Aww.
The USB port has been glued, super glued, and hot glued in place. I put this funky foam over it, and then I've also added a power switch to interrupt the circuit and allow you to switch it on and off. And this also should line up pretty good right here. So it's just about done, so let's bring in Abby and show her what we've built. Here's Abby from the beginning of the episode. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So here is the thing we built.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So here are the pieces. This is a USB battery pack that is readily available. And we actually kind of hot wired this. This isn't 5 volts, this goes right to the bank of batteries. So it basically saves a step. That's why it's labeled warm only, not hot. So we have this circuit here which boosts the low voltage of this battery pack up to 12 volts, which is required to make these work well because these are meant to hook up to a motorcycle's battery, which is like 12 volts. But this is a different kind of biking that you're interested in, so.
True.
We'll make it work. All right, so I'm gonna bolt this together and then we can put it on your bike, hopefully.
Great.
The air compressor works to remove these handlebars. Nice. Now, what if we put this guy right here?
Perfect.
And if you get in a crash, you've got a black box that will record what happened. There we go.
Perfect.
So I line these with cork so the heat will transfer into your hands, not the metal. It's a pretty good fit. I was worried that these wouldn't be tight enough.
Next, I'm gonna make you do self-warming pedals.
Pedals? Oh, I thought you were gonna say a butt warmer.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome too.
So you just plug in the charged up battery pack, switch it on, and the handlebars will get warm in a couple minutes.
Wow, thanks Ben. This will make my winter a lot more tolerable.
Frostbite. Your days are numbered. We showed Winter a thing or two, didn't we? In our next episode, we're going to build an accessibility controller for the PlayStation 4. We'll see you then.
Winter is cold and full of spiders. Thing 568,000 that sucks about winter. Move your car. Left a good snoogle in the city. Ah, my hand is melted to it. Ah!
Oh, there's Ben.
The Ben Heck Show is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community and online store built for engineers and hobbyists alike. Join now and browse the store at element14.com.